Hello everyone, and thanks for stopping by my channel. I am Serge T. In this video I'll be talking about Friday Night Smackdown for the 17th of May 2024. And up next tonight is the Smackdown's side of the quarterfinals for the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring. We're going to see Bianca Belair versus Tiffany Stratton. We see JadeCargill versus Nia Jax. That's the women's side. And then on the men's side, we have Randy Orton versus Carmello Hayes and LA Knight versus Tama Tonga. Now let's get into the show and get into the matches. It's Bianca Belair versus Tiffany Stratton. And of course, this is for the quarterfinals of the Queen of the Ring. Now, both these ladies start off imposing their wills with their power, when usually they use that to their advantage, but they're at a stalemate here. And the first mistake made may give the edge to the other superstar, because being physical won't do them much good here. And Bianca gets tied up in the ropes at one point, and it's that previous injured knee that now is being targeted by Tiffany Stratton. And then she uses the steel steps as they're on the outside to ram her into, she rams her into that steel steps. And that's not going to help her much. It won't help things for the EST. Now, Bianca needs to turn things around here, even if she had to fight through pain. And she does so by pulling Tiffany Stratton into the ring post with her good leg. She has her leg, and it looks like she's going to try to ram that. She's on the inside, her leg is sticking out. She's trying to ram that leg into the ring post. But then Bianca Belair uses that ring smarts, knows what he needs to do in that situation, and then she uses her leg to pull Tiffany in, and Tiffany goes face first into the ring post. Now, Belair puts together some great offense, but Stratton answers her and gets a near fall after delivering a big stomp. And Bianca is able to kick out after being on the receiving end of a German suplex. No, she's actually able to kick out after being on the receiving end of a German suplex. And then she delivers an eye gouge, a chop block, and a sliding clothesline that doesn't help keep the EST down for the count. But Stratton heads to the top turnbuckle to hit the prettiest moonsault ever, but Belair stops her and positions her on her shoulders for the KOD, and gets the 1-2-3 and advances to the semis. She's interviewed, of course, in the ring. And basically she says she shows up, she shows out, and her knee won't stop her. Of course, this is as she advances and she moves on. Now, Logan Paul and LA Knight have a face-to-face as Logan Paul heads to the GM's office while LA Knight leaves it. And another intriguing situation in a possible future match. People were predicting these two to go at it for the U.S. title at WrestleMania. That would have been the perfect match for LA Knight, but of course, it didn't happen, and he did get a victory against AJ Styles, his first match at WrestleMania, so that was a good thing for him. Now, JadeCargill is being interviewed backstage, and she says, "I heard all about Nia. She's one of our best, a beast and irresistible force. But to JadeCargill, she's just in my way." That's basically what she says. She's in my way, and in her path to head to the semis in the Queen of the Ring tournament. And Bianca walks in, and next week, these two could be standing across from one another. But as Jade points out, let's take it one match at a time. Now, backstage, Tama Tonga is seething, doing all these grunts. Very, very disturbing. but he's all amped up. And then Solo Sikoa just basically says it's time to go. As Heyman asks Solo as Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga leave, have you talked to him today? As Solo answers, all the time, wise man, all the time. I guess we're referring to Roman Reigns. I was thinking, was he talking to Tonga, but why would he have to talk to Tama Tonga? And then backstage, LA Knight wants to talk to you. Yeah. And he wants to introduce Tommy Tonga. That's what he says. Funny as hell. And his head. And he wants to introduce his head to the BFT and move on and introduce my head to that crown at King of the Ring. Yeah. Then Mello comes in and all braggadocious. Wants Knight to introduce him. He's the man who was the overall #1 draft pick. But Knight points out that how he has been compared. People say that, hey, you're like a Tom Brady. And then he looks at Carmello and says, who was the first draft pick the same year as Brady? No one remembers, right? No one remembers. Tom Brady was a guy who was a backup to Drew Bledsoe. When Drew Bledsoe went down, that's when he was given the reins, if you will, by Bill Belichick. And the rest is history, right? Was he an 8-time Super Bowl champion, right? That's how many MVPs he has, right? One of the greatest, right? And he pretty much put Mello in his place. Like Mello's talking about, RKO. People are going to forget about the letters RKO. They're going to remember the letters HIM. And then, LA Knight's like, oh, look at him. Look who won the spelling bee, right? And then this is so funny, dude. And then before he leaves, he's just like, why don't you go and play somewhere else? As if he's telling him, kid, go play in the sandbox. I'm doing adult stuff here. Like, just basically made him look like, LA Knight ain't gonna like, he ain't gonna sugarcoat anything. I like people like that. Tell it the truth, right? So that's gonna be something. That's like another tease of a match between those two. And Carmelo Hayes really is coming into his own, and I actually definitely prefer him as a heel. A babyface, he does good too, but a heel is where it's at. Now, Tama Tonga versus LA Knight, yeah, and physicality is on full display here. And then the seesaw battle goes on, and just who, will win here? And at one point, Knight is stomping a mud hole into Tama Tonga and walking it dry, a la Stone Cold Steve Austin. And every time he does a stomp, every time, he still has the crowd in his palm of his hand. Sometimes it felt like it was fading away, but he's got them there. I think people are actually invested into him, and no matter what happens, they're always going to be LA Knight fans. I know I am. But then Tama Tonga ain't gonna let that slide, as he gets the match back to his side with a little help from his family, a little help from the Bloodline. And as this is going on, we hear "We want Roman" chants, and they fill that arena as if they have been filling the arenas wherever they go. So when Roman comes back, he's gonna be that baby face that McMahon wanted, without trying hard. It's just a matter of absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? And here we are. So it's just a matter of how they're gonna write Roman back in, how it's gonna be. If The Rock challenges Cody at the WrestleMania 41 next year, will Roman come back and be a spoiler and cost The Rock the title and the match? That could happen. That could be the way to facilitate it. He might come back earlier than that. I don't know if it's going to be WrestleMania that he comes back. Maybe Survivor Series. He'll fill that spot. I need one more spot for the Bloodline that has the Usos and, Zilla Fatu or Jacob Fatu. And then Heyman's going to be on that side. And then they'll be outnumbered on the other side. And then in comes Roman. That could happen. And then BFT chants are heard as the megastar prefers to deliver his finisher, but the Bloodline pays dividends and they cause a distraction and allow the MFT Tama Tonga to hit the flat line and take a victory. A tainted one, But Tama moves on. I guess that's the important thing, right? For him to move on and represent the bloodline and pretty much continue a legacy that his father, you know, did, because his father was the king of the ring at one point. Not that he won it, but he found that crown, the scepter, and the what do you call it, and the cape, and had a coronation and everything, and was crowned King Tonga. I mean King Haku. So we'll see what happens. Now, Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul in a contract signing. And Cody comes out and asks the crowd, what do they want to talk about? What does Jacksonville want to talk about? It's kind of hokey how he does it. Sometimes he does it and it's okay. Sometimes he does it and it's just like, I'm just doing this because it's my catchphrase, my slug line. You know, it's like, I can agree with people. Sometimes it gets a little too hokey when he says that shit, but you know what he means, why he does it. He talks about how in Jacksonville over 32 years ago, War Games took place. 1992, for to be exact. If you hear a little bit of a tune in the background, that's the Ice Cream Man. Just so that if you guys hear a little tune in the background. Now, it may have been the greatest one that ever took place, says the best one, the greatest one, best in the history of the War Games. And why does Cody know this? Because like the fans in the arena, Cody is a fan. Also, not only of pro wrestling, but he is a fan of what he does. And Logan ain't a fan. To Cody, he is a tourist, passing through, making viral memories. It's time to get off that train and drop the United States Championship, because when he does, he will be a Grand Slam champ for the first time in his career. And think about it though, I swear Logan Paul has the biggest douchebags for entourage. These dudes he has with him look out of place and are mugging and smirking like they belong. They just look stupid as hell. I'm like, stop bringing them with you, Logan. They are an embarrassment. Because he's insufferable enough, and then he brings these guys who are more insufferable. And then Logan Paul starts to talk, and he says that he's there to sign a contract and not hear Cody talk. I mean, well, Cody's going to have a few words for you, don't you there, Logan Paul? And then the "you suck" chants are heard loud and clear, and I couldn't believe it, you guys. The guy, just because he performs the way he performs in the ring, doesn't mean that he don't suck. Now, he rips the contract up and says he only agreed to wrestle for the WWE Championship, not to put his U.S. title on the line. He has his own contract and demands Cody to sign it, but Aldis ain't having it and says he is tired of him and his broccoli-haired entourage. I love that. I mean, he couldn't have said better than me. And at the same time, I'm going, why didn't I think of that? Because you look at them, it's all fuzzy-haired, majority of them. I'm like, well, where the hell did he go get their haircut at? Same place? And then Logan's dumbass-looking lawyer. I mean, hell, man. Does anyone who we've seen with Logan in WWE look halfway normal and not stupid? That's why I hate people who bring their people in their entourage or whatever in the thing, like the guy that, I don't know who that dude is, and then what's the other guy that just recently got RKO'd by Randy Orton? I mean, those two are like probably the biggest of douchebags of all. And then his partner KSI, KRS1, whatever his stupid name is, that guy. But he grabs the mic and he tells Aldis that is he threatening his client? Because Aldis told Logan that he knows what they agreed to. Cody assures Aldis that he is doing a great job, to Aldis, and it says that, he relieves some of his duties in the ring, says, hey, we'll take care of it. You go ahead, relax in the back, because he says he knows what he's capable of doing. Maybe he was going to get physical with the lawyer or even with him, because the guy's 37 years old. He's still in his prime, Nick Aldis. And how these guys know each other is because at the first All In, the one that before the AEW even was a company, they wrestled I believe it was for the world title, for the NWA world title. These guys know each other. I think they traded an NWA title between each other in matches. But, Cody was an NWA champion. That's one of those times when he left WWE, went over there for a bit. And I believe Aldis was one of his bitter rivals. So they know each other. They got respect because they know what they brought to the ring and to a match when they wrestled. And then Logan Paul tells the crowd that Cody hasn't done anything to deserve wrestling him for the U.S. title. And he has done everything to be considered a contender for all the gold. I'm like, Cody hasn't done anything to deserve it. You keep telling yourself that, you delusional fuck. Like, are you really seriously saying and telling us and want us to believe what you say? Cody has busted his ass since coming back. But I get it. It's a heel tactic. Heels got to say what they got to say to get under the skin of their opponent, right? So I guess I can understand why he said it, but at the same time, it's kind of silly. And then Cody is not having it. He's incensed. He calls him a fly-by-night human hat rack. Damn good expression. I'm kind of looking at him going, I think he does look like one, right? And then he tells him the honeymoon is over. And that Logan Paul will find out who he is. Talking about Logan Paul will find out what he is on the outside. What was that on the inside? Like he's going to find out who he is. And that his brother Jake in 8 days is going to get KO'd by a WWE Hall of Famer, that being Mike Tyson. And in Saudi Arabia, a future Hall of Famer, referring to himself, is going to beat him. He says, "You want me to sign the contract? That what you want?" Logan nods yes. He does so. And then he ducks an attempted sneak attack by Logan Paul and clotheslines him over the top rope, but puts one of his dork entourage through the table. Good. I wish he had done that to the rest of them and their lawyer. Like set up some tables on the outside, grab those guys and put them through the thing. I guess the guy that got put through signed a waiver, said, "Okay, I'll do it." But that was a good segment. Very, very good. The typical thing, of course, it ends with someone going through the table, but at least it was someone else kind of switching it up a little bit, but it always ends up that way. Handful of times in my life watching, and didn't do that. But, yeah, I mean, they pretty much said what they needed to say in that segment. We got, one more week before the pay-per-view, for the PLA, excuse me. And they're actually building up everything here pretty good on SmackDown. But let's continue talking. Nia Jax backstage, and Kathy Kelly's interviewing her. And Nia Jax tells Kathy to stop it. I mean, asking her about what she thinks about what Jade said earlier. And she says, of course Jade has to hype herself up. You hear all of them say, Jade is so strong, and she is. Jade is so impressive, and she is. Jade is going to be the queen of the ring, and she is. Not, says Nia. JadeCargill is not going to be the queen of the ring. Nia Jax will be your new queen of the ring. And then she just walks off. Very confident is Nia. And I got to tell you, and I hate how the people out there want to rely on what Nia was before. Oh, she's a botch machine. Oh, she's a dangerous. She's, putting people out left and right and not safe to work with. But then, are you guys watching the show? Or are you just going by what happened earlier? Like, you people that want to do this, but don't do the whole thing of, researching or even watching. Because as far as I'm concerned, ever since she came back, she's been good in the ring. Is she making mistakes? Of course she is. But do you see her endangering anybody? Do you see her doing anything that is reminiscent of how she was before? No, I can't say. As my annoying neighbor's dog barking, shut the hell up. I'm recording here. You're you. I love dogs. I love pets, but man, You gotta know when to kind of. But it's not my dog, so anyway, let's move on. Now up next is the match which pits Nia Jax versus JadeCargill. And man, when Jade steps out on that stage and flexes with that tag title around her waist, she straight up makes that belt look legit. I'm like, damn, she is on fire. I'm telling you, she has the look, she has the charisma, she has the ability to talk on the mic, and her ring work, her skill set is coming together. You know, she's doing what I was saying that needs to be done is that they need to work with her strengths and not try to make her do anything that goes outside of the realm of her abilities, and you'll look good. You know. And like I say, man, I really want to see Jade and Bianca in the semis, but she has a lot to prove as she faces Nia Jax. And what will be a true test for her. She was able to, you know, take on Piper Niven, someone who's in the kind of like the same realm and same size, same power as Nia Jax, and she was able to handle her. So let's see what she does with Nia Jax. Now, right off the bat, the two forces of nature. One is a irresistible force, and the other is a storm that's a coming. They go nose to nose and start jaw jacking. And perhaps this is what you might call a feeling out process before even the first punch is thrown. And then Jax drops Jade with a solid right hook to the jaw. When she did that, it looked good, it looked clean, didn't look sloppy. And Jade took that. She gets knocked to the floor, she gets back up. She gets a shoulder block, knocks her down. She gets back up, and then another one is delivered to her. But then Jade evades a attempted senton and lifts up Jax and plants her into the mat. She does like a spine buster, like what you call that, choke bomb type of thing, where she just lifts it up and it slams her down. And then that's a move that you see her do a lot, and that's her money move. That's the one that shows that, hey, you're not going to push me around. I'm going to put your ass into the mat and make you think about what you're going to do when you try to come at me. That's what she's pretty much saying with that move. Now, both women with displays of power, and the other one having having a really upper hand. But although Jade is the one standing in the ring while Jax needed to take a breather outside. Kind of confused that one. Both women with displays of power. And with one having the real upper hand. There you go. That's Jade. And although she's the one that's left standing, Jax is the one that needed to take a breather outside. No, it's actually a smart move. Roll out there, take the momentum away from your opponent, because you don't want to have that opponent on the roll, because then once they get to a point where they're going to have your ass, in the palm of their hands, then you're done. You're pinned, submitted, whatever. The match is over. And then you see outside, Jax browbeats Jade's daughter. Jade's getting into it on her. It looks like she's going to be a future superstar in the ring, because she has that attitude, that thing where her mom does, where she doesn't back down from nothing. And this little girl, how old is she? About 8, 9, 10 years old, right? And at the same time, she's having her way with Jade. And then it all goes awry. And then a steel chair is introduced by Nia. Now Jade stops her from hitting her, and then she takes the chair away from her and hits her with it, and uses the chair to hit Nia. And Jade forgot that this isn't a no DQ match, and the ref calls it. Nia wins by DQ, and the two women just destroy one another afterwards. The refs have to pull them apart. And in the end, Jade is fuming, but Nia is all smiles and is moving on to face Bianca in the semi-finals. Not the match I wanted to see, but I guess this is a way to make Bianca look strong. They may give her the Queen of the Ring. It's one of the accolades that she has not added to her resume yet. Neither has Io. And it may be those two in the finals. in Saudi. But Nia, don't know if she needs to have her flowers yet. I don't know if this is something that she needs yet in her thing. She's done everything. But we'll see. I mean, they swerved us with this. I thought Jade was going to move on. But I think they want to save that for, let's say, they implode at SummerSlam. You know, I know they're going to have this title for a while. So they're going to build it up to one point where you'll start seeing some, some holes in the partnership there, and misunderstandings and things happening that they're going to start. It's just a matter of who's going to be the heel. Might be Jade, but Jade's so hot right now. I mean, even Bianca. So it's going to be a thing where, like, who's going to be the heel in that thing, or maybe it's going to be about mutual respect, but they're going to go at each other. I don't know, but then again, it's not going to make it interesting. It's interesting if one is heel, one's babyface, like always, right? Like how the blueprint is, how the script is, if you will, for a typical one-on-one or a typical feud. Now, DIY versus Legado's Angel and Berto. Now, these are two great teams putting in their usual tag team offense, but is it worth it? Are these teams enough to make this division even worth a damn? Now, DIY wins this one, and then Legado joins their leader Santos. And then, because of this win, Legado will join their leader Santos in the loser's side of the purse. Remember, Santos lost to LA Knight. I believe it was a what do you call that? A live show. So, they got to start winning, does Legado. If you want us to give a rat's ass about you guys, about this faction, then you start winning. Well, plain as that. But I still care about Elektra. She's a winner to me. She could lose all the matches, and I'm like, oh, damn, she's a winner. Whew, man. I tell you. She's, like I said, she's eye candy. Decent in the ring, but more eye candies, more so than not. Now, the QR codes, there was one that came up during this match, and what's the name? Corey Graves brings that up and talks about how they're popping up. They're popping up left and right. Right? Some of them are just on there for like a second. I don't have time to. Even if I try to DVR it back and then try to pause it, it's hard sometimes. Let it marinate, WWE. Put it up there for maybe 5 seconds and then do it. Sometimes it's like, doop, doop. Like, how are you going to, But I know that people post it up on YouTube. You can watch all those. I don't have time to do that. I mean, I could make time, but I got so many things that went on in my life, man. It's just like I just go along for the ride. But this one, we got a clip, but can only be described as head scratching, kind of, because it kind of leaves you with more questions than answers, right? It's like a woman, she can be seen talking to someone, checking in on this person. Like, is this a psychiatrist, perhaps? Talking to Uncle Howdy, maybe talking to Sister Abigail, whoever. It's got to be Uncle Howdy, right? That she's talking to, not one of his merry men, if you will, and women as well. Very interesting, though. Very interesting. Now, AJ Styles backstage, interviewed by Byron Saxton, and where does he go from here? And even Styles asks himself that very question. He talks about how being so close in a very unbelievable match at Backlash in France, and he lost. Had a chance to redeem himself in the King of the Ring tournament, and he lost in the first round to Randy Orton, the person that eventually, moved on, not only from him, but now he's going to be in the semis. Where do I go from here? He asked it again. So next week, I go to Nick Aldis' office and we'll find out where I go from there. Is he hinting at a retirement, possibly? He has talked about having a few more years in him. I think he has a lot more than that. Look at how he's built. Look at how he has really, really reinvented himself very much. He's the heel AJ now, but kind of comes off now as a babyface here. Maybe he'll get back with the OC. Who knows? Now, Randy Orton is up next. He's in action next, and he goes one-on-one with Carmello Hayes. But first, backstage, the WWE Women's Champ Bayley, she's asked about who is going to be her pick now, because her pick was Jade. And then she has a run-in with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, who blamed Piper's loss last week to Bayley sprinkling some bad juju. And she's saying this, and then Bayley is all smiles and happy because she says that next week she and Chelsea are going to be meeting each other in the ring. Now, at first, Chelsea has that look on her face like concern, but then she smiles, almost like to say, "We got her. We got her. We got her, Piper. We got her in the ring. Let's see what they do. Are they able to take it to Bayley and probably take her out? I don't know. Put her on the shelf. Maybe then Bayley has to relinquish her title. I don't know what their plan is, but looked like Chelsea's Greens, the gears were working in her head. So let's see what she has in store for the champ. Now back to the match in regards to Randy Orton and Carmelo Hayes. And on a side note, so let me see. So because of France, y'all dummies are going to sing him to the ring. That is Randy Orton. This isn't Chris Jericho in AEW with the whole Judas, song entrance theme that they sing him to the ring. Even though now he's known as the Learning Tree Chris Jericho, and there's a different. I think it's a Rob Zombie song. Even though I'm a Rob Zombie fan, I can't even point out what song that is. And then all I gotta say is that you gotta stop that nonsense, you fucking sheep. Like, it just, I don't know. It just seems to me like there are certain songs that you can sing somebody to the ring, and that song doesn't even echo in my head or even register with me as a song to be singing. That's the thing that pisses me off, is that people want to, just because they're doing it in France, let's do it here. So it's like the whole thing with Seth Rollins. When France was singing him for 12 minutes, they were singing his, whatever, right? They're doing that for 12 minutes. And then people started doing it, and that's why we had to go through the insufferable thing of these people doing that every time Seth Rollins came out, right? That's why I'm kind of glad he's gone for a little bit, because then you can kind of get a break from that. I love Seth. I think he's great. But it's like, that shit right there is annoying. Like I said, it's just like a damn fly that keeps flying in your face. You brush him away, he goes like this. Brushes away, he goes like this. It's like that. Eventually, you're going to get fed up. Eventually, what I do, of course, I get the damn newspaper or something and kill that motherfucker. And I wish these guys would kill that. Kill all that noise. You know what I mean? Now on to the match, and Melo has the nerve to slap the back of Orton's head, and because he was kind of evading his moves and stuff, his offense, right? And then when they get up, he's like, kind of like, uh-oh. But then he goes, oh, fuck it. Pushes him, right? Pushes Orton back, which only enrages the Viper, who proceeds to take the young whippersnapper to the woodshed. Boy, did he ever. And he rams him into the ring post a couple times, and he gives him an apple serving of a European uppercut 4 times in the corner. He said, "You want some? You want some more?" Like the kid that's going, "Excuse me, sir, I want more." Was that? And Oliver, was that the name of that thing? And then the musical, and then he just keeps giving it to him 4 times. Kind of. But I'm sure he made Cesaro, who's known now as Claudio Castagnoli. He probably made him smile. Go, damn, he threw some good ones just like me. Now, he has Melo reeling, and then Orton feels the young, arrogant man needs to take a breather and gladly tosses him to the outside. How nice of the Apex Predator, right? And then say hello to the announce desk as Orton slams him face first into it, followed up by a belly-to-back suplex. But Melo goes to the old standby, a thumb in the eye, and decides to pose like Orton. But Orton says, "Not just yet, Melo," and sweeps his leg out from under him, causing Melo to hit the announce desk back first. A headbutt by Orton, followed up by 2 side suplex tosses, into the announce desk, sending Hayes over the desk, and in the laps of Wade Barrett and Corey Graves. Now, is this match going to be over before it even starts? And Orton hits another side suplex toss onto the announce desk. Then this brings a smile across the Viper's face. But Melo weathers the initial storm as they come back from break. The initial storm of Orton. and takes him down with a springboard off the second ropes and hits a flying shoulder block. But then I said, no, it's like a kind of like a forearm and a clothesline looking thing. And then Mello working that left knee, which is taped up, and it's pretty much a welcome mat for punishment. Now Randy starts to do his thing with 2 consecutive clotheslines, and usually this is followed up by a snap power slam, excuse me. But Mello stops himself, and Randy misses and falls to the mat, clutching his left knee. But Mello seems to have done his homework and goes for the punt. Trying to do again what Orton doing, but Orton evades it and does finally deliver his patented power slam, but gets a near fall. Now Orton prepares to go vintage with the draping DDT, but Mello gets out of it and kicks Orton in the injured knee again and delivers a code breaker. Well, calls it the first 48. I don't know how it gets that name, the first 48, but that's what it's named. And he gets an ear fall. Now Hayes is being downright nasty in his attacks on Orton's knees and goes to the top turnbuckle to deliver perhaps nothing but net, but rolls out as Orton evades it and goes vintage as he hits the draping DDT. And now the crowd chants start happening. RKO are echoing through the arena. Orton acknowledges the crowd and gets in position to deliver the 3 most deadliest letters in all of sports entertainment. But Hayes counters. Orton kicks Hayes off him and delivers the RKO out of nowhere as Hayes springboards off the second rope. And we see the ref's hands hit the mat, 1, 2, 3, and Orton moves on to face Tama Tonga. And then as Kathy Kelly goes to interview him, the bloodline come out. But Randy isn't intimidated as he reminds them who he is and introduces himself to them that he is Randy freaking Orton. I guess Randy's borrowing the freaking part from Seth as Seth is out. Okay. A fourth time he says at first. I'm like, oops, I'm thinking oops. And then he corrects himself and Randy goes, I'm a 14-time World Heavyweight Champion and soon to be King of the Ring. And since we're doing introductions, Tama next week in Saudi Arabia, I'm going to introduce my foot directly up your ass. And following that, I will reintroduce you to the 3 most deadly, dangerous letters in sports entertainment, RKO. And that's how it ended. His music starts playing. Fades to black. That's going to be a good match. Very intriguing. And of course, on the other side, we have Gunther versus Jay Uso. So I'm picking Jay. Well, I'm picking Jay to lose because Gunther will win and then face Randy Orton. Randy Orton's at his point in his life where he doesn't need to win. He doesn't need to really need the crown. I mean, it's going to be a good topper to his career. The one thing that he doesn't have, but I think Gunther is going to win because I feel he's going to go on to win the world title. He's going to use this as a way to get to the world championship. It's a matter of who the world heavyweight champion is going to be at that point when he decides to challenge. Is it very intriguing for him to have a match with Damian Priest? 2 monster heels, 2 guys that are straight up heels. No, you can't really tell a story that way. I think 2 baby faces can, but 2 heels, I don't know. But a very, very good Raw. Not too promo heavy. I hate when there's just so many damn promos and so many damn talking. You just want to go, wrestle already, damn it. Like, what the hell, dude, right? That one SmackDown some weeks ago had only, I think 2 matches. Maybe 4, but it's like nothing but talking. It's just like these guys always feel like you got to go to that person and ask him for his opinion and ask this person for their opinion. And these 2 are having a throwaway match. Let's talk to them. Like, just talk to the ones who are important. You know, Randy Orton, Tama Tonga, you know, right? LA Knight. And, and LA Knight, Tama Tonga, and then Randy Orton and, and Mello, right? I want to hear what they had to say. Bailey, right? Talking to her. That. I don't want to hear from DIY. I want to hear from Angel and Berto, from Santos. Especially if they got nothing going on, what do they have to talk about? I want to hear from JadeCargill. We did Nia Jax because he had an important match. But then you're talking to the people who don't even have a thing going on. Like, keep it simple. That's all I gotta say, man. Because that's all we want. I don't hear no extra fluff and nonsense, especially on SmackDown. Because SmackDown is 2 hours. On Raw, I guess I can understand it because they gotta fill time. But then again, if you have 15-minute matches, 20-minute matches, it don't matter. You don't need all that. You don't need all the damn all the nonsense and talking and all that stuff, and the interviews and all that stuff. Keep it simple and keep it to the point of the people that we want to hear from, and that people have a feud going and a story going and an important match coming up. Not just a people that are they're somewhat miffed by somebody. Oh, what are your opinions about what this guy said to you last week? It's like, who cares what that person has to say? If it's not important. I love Otis. I love Chad Gable, but are you interested in a damn feud between them? People will get behind Otis. I will. But is it really important? Because those things never ever materialize. They never ever bring anything but just you're scratching your head. Why do we care about this? It's like the Crime Time. Shad Gaspard and JTG, right? They had a thing where they split them up, and I think I believe Shad was a heel, and then JTG was the babyface. No one cared about that. It's just like with Darren Young and Titus O'Neil. They split up. And then Titus was the heel, I believe. And then Darren Young was the babyface. And it's like, who cares? The only time we cared, really, back in the day, was when Shawn Michaels turned on Marty Jannetty. Threw him through the barbershop window. Remember that? Gave him a I believe they were separated for a bit. And then they were on there. And then Shawn Michaels was like this with his hand up, putting Marty Jannetty's hand up like this, and he's to his side, and then he just delivers a side kick, super kick, and then he takes him by the back of his head, then throws him through the damn window. I don't think he went through the window, like he just threw him, and then boom, he was just hanging out the window, but turned on him. That's the one of the times, and there's some instances in that, but majority of the times we don't care about a feud between the tag team. They're only good as a tag team. You imagine if you decide to do that with Street Profits? No, one of the biggest fails was with Bubba Ray and Devon. Great as a tag team. Why would you split them up, right? Devon became Reverend Devon. The only good thing that came out of that is that Deacon Batista, right? He brought the former Leviathan, right? Remember he was known that as in OVW, right? Brings him in, and then we see what happened with that, right? Kind of a gateway for Batista to break out. Bubba Ray was just a glorified, mid-card jobber kind of thing. What did he do? I can't even remember his stick. I think it was just Bubba Ray Dudley on his own. At least he did something with Devon, but at the same time, did anybody care about that? Not really. What other teams, you know what I mean? But I don't think it ever mattered. Except for the example I gave with Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. There could be others, but I'm not thinking that right now. I can't think right now, but that's the one. What's the main one I'm thinking? That thing actually was a very, very good breaking up of a team and then having a little bit of a rivalry. Maybe the feud they had and the matches they had maybe didn't live up to it, but it was a good thing. We actually cared. I think people were actually on the side of Marty Jannetty, but it's just like now. The comparison is now that if a team breaks up, who's going to be the Shawn Michaels? Who's going to be the Marty Jannetty? That's always, the thing, right? Like the Hart Foundation, when they went their ways, because, Brett did his thing. He was a Shawn Michaels of his team, and then Jim Neidhart was the Marty Jannetty. He had to reteam with his brother-in-law, Owen, and he had to, and then what was great is when they reteamed the Hart Foundation, where they included Brian Pillman and Dave Boy Smith. I mean, that was the time when I was in the military, and I didn't watch wrestling because I was so busy doing my thing there. And that was that time, they had the In Your Houses, and then DX battled the Hart Foundation, right? But that's that. SummerSlam. SmackDown was very good. I enjoyed it. I think the pacing was very, very on point, and they established matches, semis now for the SmackDown side. Did I agree with the thing? Yeah, I mean, I can see. I mean, I would have liked Jade to face Bianca, but at the same time, it's needed that put Jade in that. I mean, Nia in that spot now to face Bianca, because I don't think they want to see even if it's between two baby faces and two friends right now. It's going to be a very, very. It would have been a very, very fun match, a little bit of one-upmanship kind of thing, and then getting into it and stuff. But maybe they could have used it to show some cracks in their partnership and their friendship. But I think they want to save that till later. So we'll see what you do with that. But she's going to move on. Nia to face Bianca. Should be a very good match, a very decent match. But at the same time, I think Bianca will find her way. Maybe Jay's going to interfere and cost Nia the match. So we'll see that. And then, of course, Randy takes on Gunther. Right? Well, no, that would be actually, I think I said that earlier, but no, that would actually be the final, actually. It's like, who's he facing next week? Oh, Tama Tonga. What am I talking about? But no, actually, earlier I did say what I said earlier was that those two, Gunther and I think they will be facing each other at in Saudi. I don't know why Randy said that he's going to face him in Saudi, Tama Tonga. Isn't it going to be facing him next week, or are they going to do the semis and the finals? And I know I heard that they're doing the finals in Saudi. So I don't know if that was another slip there, but like somebody that he kind of had a brain fart, and because he did say 4-time champion before he corrected himself and said 14-time champion. But the smash with Tama, he's gonna beat Tama Tonga. Because I don't see Tama Tonga, the finals in the main event finals there in Saudi, Then maybe Jimmy's gonna come back and cost him the match. Jimmy, right? Because they did oust him, they did attack him, kicked him out of the bloodline. So maybe Jimmy will come back and do that next week. But that is my video. So for those of you who stopped by and checked out my video, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. My sub count keeps going up, and I appreciate that little by little. But I do appreciate people who are interested in giving my video their time and like that. So what I ask before I end the video is for y'all to still click like if you like the video. Please share, comment if you'd like. Also subscribe, and when you do, and if you like what you see, pass the word, spread the word, and let your friends know. If you want to find somebody who is nonchalant, who is direct, who doesn't lie, who doesn't kiss ass, who doesn't sugarcoat stuff, and is serious and brutally honest with their reviews and stuff, let them know about me, and they will not be disappointed, because I don't, bend the knee to those in the IWC that want to be positive all the time and not, and they want to make you, force feed you their opinion that it's good. Nothing's wrong with the product. Nothing's wrong with WWE or AEW or whatever. And then if you go against what they say, they get venomous and they start threatening your family, and they start threatening you because you're an asshole because you don't agree with us. I don't have to agree with you. It's my opinion. You got yours. If we can't meet in the middle, well, we're just going to have to agree to disagree. Simple as that. And also, as always, click the bell icon, the notification thing there. And well, that's that. So for those of you who stopped by and check out my video, I thank you very much. I appreciate it. And until next time, take care, and I will see you in my next video.